Hi everybody, how was my last tutorial part about the use of the German wohin question in asking someone about where he or she is going to? Do write your reviews in the comment section. In this last tutorial part, I will cover how to answer to the question wohin by telling someone about where you're going to. Please also note that before studying this tutorial part also, you need to check out my tutorials 14 on the German cases, then tutorials 21 and 22 which mention the German verbs, regular and irregular verbs, and how they are conjugated. So moving on, so you're going to study some public places which in German are öffentliche Plätze with in as the preposition and the article that will depend on the gender of the noun. Now you're going to look at public places which are masculine in gender, feminine and neutral. And the articles that come with the preposition in and which are the articles of these public places have been declined according to the accusative case. So that is why it is necessary to go through my tutorial 14 so you understand the accusative case before studying this tutorial part. Now, der Park is the park. Der Zoo is the zoo. Der Supermarkt is the supermarket. And der Bahnhof is the railway station. Now, interestingly, these nouns are masculine in gender because of the use of the article der. And the accusative case requires the change of the article der to den when we put it in sentences describing where you are going to. Ich gehe in den Park, which means that you are outside the park, but you are now going into the park. So entry into the park is what this preposition in is showing in this sentence. In the same way, ich gehe in den Zoo will mean that you are standing or you're somewhere outside the zoo and you're about to enter the zoo. Also, ich gehe in den Supermarkt. So you're entering the supermarket. Ich gehe in den Bahnhof means you are outside the railway station building and you are entering the building. So moving on. Now we also have German nouns that are feminine in gender. And some of the common public places which are feminine I have shown you here. Now when describing movement into these places, the article D, which is used with feminine nouns in the German language, will remain D. So accusative case shows that the only article that changes its form is the article of the masculine noun. The articles of the feminine and neutral nouns will remain unchanged. Die Ausstellung is the exhibition, and this man is going into the exhibition. Die Bibliothek, the library. This man is entering the library. Die Disco. Now, interestingly, this word has been taken from the English language and not only used as it is in German, but also pronounced disco. Die Stadt, which is the city, and die Schule, which is the school. Now let's have a look at sentences with these nouns. Ich gehe in die Ausstellung, entering an exhibition. In the same way, ich gehe in die Disco or ich gehe in die Bibliothek means that you are entering these places. So entering the disco or entering the library. However, now note that in my previous tutorial part, I mentioned that in does not only show going into a certain space or room, but in also shows going to those places. So the last two nouns, die Stadt and die Schule, when you use the preposition in with these two nouns, then in does not just mean entering these places, but also in means generally going to these places. So let me show you. Ich gehe in die Stadt. So either you are walking and you enter the city. That will mean that you're now going into the city. This is one meaning. The second meaning is when you're generally telling someone that you are going to the city. Then in the general sense, it will not necessarily mean that you're walking on foot and entering the city, but that you're generally, as we say in English also, I'm going to the city. So you are actually walking to the city, but it could also mean going by some other transport means. So in can show two meanings for this noun. In the same way, ich gehe in die Schule. So the first meaning is for anyone entering the school, the person can say ich gehe in die Schule. But the second meaning of in, which means to, will show that it is the student only that is telling somebody that I go to school. So I am a student in that sense. So moving on. Now interestingly, all the neutral nouns that you see here, as they're using das as the article, in will not only mean entering these places, but also going to these places. Note that in plus das as the article can be shortened and written as ins. Das Kino is the cinema. So ich gehe in das Kino or ich gehe ins Kino means I am going inside the cinema, but it also means I am going to the cinema in general. Das Theater is the theater. Again, in can mean going into the theater or generally going to the theater. Das Konzert. Then das Museum, das Café, the cafe, das Schwimmbad. Note here that ich gehe ins Schwimmbad can have two meanings. So if I'm going to the swimming pool from some other place, I will say ich gehe ins Schwimmbad. Then if I'm about to enter, then also I will say ich gehe ins Schwimmbad. Then the person that is jumping into the swimming pool can also say ich gehe ins Schwimmbad, but particularly the person can say ich springe ins Schwimmbad, where springen is a regular verb and means to jump. Then anyone inside a swimming pool can say ich schwimme ins Schwimmbad. So I'm swimming in the swimming pool. Schwimmen and springen are both regular verbs, and also verbs that show movement just like the verb gehen. Then if I'm going to a restaurant or entering it, ich gehe ins Restaurant. Then going to a shopping mall or entering it is ich gehe ins Einkaufszentrum. In my tutorial 22, I have mentioned that there is a verb einkaufen and noun Einkauf, which is the shopping, and the Zentrum, which is the center. So the center where you shop. And therefore this compound noun is das Einkaufszentrum. So ich gehe ins Einkaufszentrum. So I'm going to this shopping mall or I'm entering this shopping mall. That was all for today. Any questions related to this entire tutorial, you can ask in the comment section. Please like my videos and continue watching the tutorials. Also, do not forget to subscribe to German Tutorials for Beginners and share my channel's name and link with your friends. Thank you.